Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This time it's going to be of the brand new Bandai Tamashii Nations S.H. Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan Son Gohan, the fighter who surpassed Goku. Very excited to finally have this updated Kid Gohan here. I have the 1.0 version from over a decade ago at this point. I don't know where it is right now, so I can't do comparisons, sadly. But I also never got the one from a few years ago. That was the battle damaged one. I think it was re-released as a SDCC exclusive last year, I believe. Never got that one, so I'm glad to have this one here that has the updated 3.0 technology and articulation on here. At first, I didn't think I was going to be able to do this review this week because the pre-orders for this went like crazy. But a couple months ago, Ami had some more pre-orders drop, so I was able to get one finally. And before Golden Week, which would have been a problem, I would have had to wait longer, which was a problem last year. Some stuff got paused because of that when it came to shipping. Anyway, figure in the box right there. Very standard with the SH Figuarts line with this packaging. SH Figuarts, see the figure in the box. Character's name on the side, images of the character on the right as well. Down here, made in China, we also have the Tamashii Nations quality sticker as well as the ages 15 and up logo there. We also have the Toei logo, Dragon Ball Z, the Tamashii Nations and Bandai logos as well. On this side, it's just the character's name as you see right there. We already got to see that from the front. And then right there it says Super Saiyan Son Gohan. Continuing images of some grayed out images of the figure with a little bit of purple as the background there, as you can see. On the top, there's not much going on. It's just an image of one of the face plates for Gohan. Then we look on the bottom here, just another image of Gohan, black and white right there. Looking on the back of the packaging here, as you can see, a lot of different posing, different accessories being shown off, some of the different features, and then down here a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know how to read it because I imported this, but you can see the barcode down there and Bandai Namco's logo as well. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. And here's the figure out of the packaging. This is a pretty good little figure here. I do have a little bit of some gripes, nothing too major, but it's still pretty solid. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories, then we'll take a close look at the figure. First thing I want to talk about with accessories is this extra head sculpt we get and this faceplate that comes packaged with it, the screaming head. First of all, this faceplate is really nice. I really like the printing overall, especially in the eyes. That tealish color piercing through, really sick. I'm also really digging a lot of the scrunching detail that they have underneath, on top, and in between even the eyes right there. A little bit on the outside of the eyebrows. You have some scrunching details. We also have the just one color for the eyebrows, but they still look good. Like the printing on there is really clean. I have yet to see with these recent figures, and honestly for a long time, a bad separation of the teeth and mouth paint going on there. Oh, that looks really good. I can't remember if it was ever bad, but I feel like they've always done it really well. Now, one thing I want to mention is that we have some really good shading on the front here. A little bit of a darker yellow in this blonde color here. Also forgot to mention paint on the sideburns there and the sculpting on the ears. But when you get to towards the back of the head, there's not much going on in terms of paint. Some of the sculpting looks a little bit soft, I feel like, in these areas, but in other areas, like around the hair strands, they look really good. So I do think maybe just a little bit more of that yellow paint. And it's like that on the other head, too. We'll talk about that in a second. A little bit more paint would have been a little bit better if you asked me. Popping off the faceplates is pretty simple. Stick this one up like this, and then you push this in. It's a little bit tricky to line things up at first, but it gets in there. This is the battle damaged face, so it's covering a little bit of the windswept look is covering a little bit of the detailing on the face, but you can see some of the scratched and damaged detail on the forehead as well as around the cheek here. These eyes again looking really nice. Pretty good, scrunching details again, like I mentioned, underneath and in between the eyes there too. You have a little bit of teeth separation. Now let's just take a look at these other faceplates on their own. We have this larger eyed expression, not as angry, slightly bent frown type of face. This one again looks really good. You get a better look of how they do the teal in the eyes with this larger pupil there, and that looks really good. Last but not least, these are the gritting teeth face. Again, looking really good with the nice angular printing going on to make it angry with the eyes. as well as the gritting teeth looks really good too. So, when it comes to the hands, I tried to see if some of these hands, they're done in a similar fashion as Goku's. Of course they would be. I wanted to see if they were the exact same sculpt. It could have been different with different Gokus, but for like the Saiyan Raised on Earth version, the back of the hand is way more angled from the wrist area compared to this one. So these are the flat hands for different types of martial arts poses. See the thumbs tucked in there too. Pretty nice detailing on the palms, and in the back the hands look a little bit glossy. Everything was molded in this type of skin tone. And then you have these hands with more of like a slightly bent toward type of expression that they're using towards the like ring and pinky finger. We've gotten these type of hands, I think, with different Gohans in the past couple of years. I think a couple of other characters. I don't know if these are the exact same hands. I would assume that they are new sculpts, but it's whatever if they are reuse. Especially if it's a reuse from a Gohan, it would make sense. These are more of like everything is scrunched evenly. This looks more of like a Kamehameha effect type hand. I do wish we came with some type of effects. We don't have anything like that. And I know we're getting some separate effects pieces soon, but it would have been nice if we had one for this. And then we also have, for hands, we do have these more. Where did it even go? There you go. These flat expression hands with the fingers a little bit more flat for different types of effects and different types of posing. The biggest thing that makes this about $65 is the new cape system with the soft goods on here. First of all, this shoulder section is a softer plastic. It's a little bit rubbery, not super duper rubbery or anything, but I don't think they're reusing this sculpt from anything from the past. Could be wrong there, but everything when it comes to the like wrinkles, all of that looks really good. I can't tell if there's any like paint in here. I think in the past they would have had a little tiny bit of black shading. Could be wrong on that. Something that maybe would have helped get these details out a little bit would have been nice, but still look good. And then we do have actually a really nice sturdy type of cloth material. And I'm barely pulling on this, by the way, because, if I pull too hard, something could break. But really nice sturdy material for this section here, with the soft goods. It has a bendy wire, of course, as you see here. Straightening this out is going to be a little bit of a pain. But you could pose it around. I haven't posed this around too much with this on him yet. But I don't think it's super top heavy for this. It's pretty nicely weighted, so that way, the bendy wires are really strong, so you can move that around, but it doesn't make it heavy, so that it makes the figure very heavy overall. This is just a really nice system. Now, the way it looks a little separated, especially when you try to push it up here. It still looks separated, like the way that the separation in the plastic and cloth is just a little bit too much, but it's still really nice. You see where it's ported into there. I do want to go ahead and show you just a quick image of what this looks like ported onto there. Now, I do want to mention that the head feels pretty raised on there. One slight movement, and I feel like the head will pop off pretty easily. And you can see that his head looks a little too high up on there. So it's a little bit difficult to get on there, but it still looks pretty good if you ask me when everything is on here. I also do want to mention that separating the heads the first time, the windswept head took the peg, so I had to take that out. It wasn't super easy to take it out. So if that is going to be a problem in the future where it just keeps happening, that's going to be a little bit annoying, but nothing too bad to deal with. So I'm really digging how this looks right out of the packaging. Let's see, just this nice angrier expression, neutral expression that we have. And you can kind of see what I'm talking about with the hair. It could have been like this in the show, and I'm just misremembering. But I feel like a little bit more darker yellow in the back here would have just brought out these details a little bit more. But the actual head sculpt is really good with that detailing, and then the paint on here is really good. And once again, this overall faceplate, all that printing on there is really nice. There's not much else to talk about because some of the expression going on here is a little bit similar to the other heads that we've gotten. So let's just move on to the rest of the body. We do have pretty nice neck system going on here. I mentioned this earlier, this neck peg tends to pop off with the other head. And it actually at one point took this whole neck piece going to this torso. So it is a little bit easier to pop that out, but I wouldn't recommend doing it all the time. Now, when it comes to the torso here, we have a similar type of soft plastic shirt here covering the chest. Excuse me, but as you notice here, unlike with like Beast Gohan, I think this is more of Orange Piccolo's type of system. We have these separated shoulder pieces, so it's not sculpted into that shirt, and will make the rotation and all that movement hindered. It was really hindered on the Beast Gohan release, so kind of wish they had the foresight to do it like this for Beast Gohan, because this soft plastic shirt, I don't dislike that. Especially here, you're really just gonna get, I think there is a hinge in here. I can't exactly tell right now. I might have to pop some things off to find out. But most of that articulation is gonna be in here. I think we'll talk about articulation in a second. But yeah, so even though we have this, it really isn't gonna hinder that much articulation going on. The muscles on the arms going on here, especially on the shoulders, looking nice. Now in person, I feel like the shoulders are a little bit of a glossier type of finish compared to, I mean, it's still pretty glossy, but it's a little bit more matte on the bicep and the forearm. But in the camera right now, it's not too bad, I don't think. Again, the wrinkles throughout, all that looks pretty good. I don't think they're reusing how some of the detailing was done with Beast Gohan. I don't know why they would. They usually do things from the ground up, especially with a smaller character like this. You can see some of the muscles in his chest there too. Again, muscles all the way going throughout. I think there's a little bit of variation in the skin tone in some areas, but it's very light amount to where you really can't tell if they did use any paint. Mostly you'll notice it like on the elbow, as well as like some parts of the bicep. But I'm not noticing it in the viewfinder right now. And the fists here, again, looking pretty good, a little bit glossy. We have some glossy blue for these armbands. This blue waistband, pretty nice. Try to see. I think this is, yeah, so this, I believe, is ported into the front of the chest here, because this does not seem to want to separate. I wouldn't do it either way, just I was curious about it. Then you get down to the detailing towards the pants here. A lot of nice wrinkles. A decent amount of stretching in certain areas to make it look like he is in motion in some areas. We also have a little bit of a lighter, actually so I can't tell if this is darker or lighter, but we have a little bit of variation of purple going on here around the knees and legs. It's like that in some other Gohan figures. I think it's like that on Beast Gohan. But you can see, again, the wrinkling, very nice. Gets cut off right here around the ankles. Let's bend that. You can see a little bit of detailing. It kind of gets smooth around here, but detailing in the knee also is pretty nice. And then you get to the back of the legs, which are a little bit glossier looking, but you have detailing in the actual joints right there. Now we also have the shoes here. For some reason, this one doesn't want to bend down too much. These ankle pieces are a separate piece. They'll move around on their own, but I think sometimes they're like pushed down. I actually don't know. I feel like the left ankle is more hindered than the right one right now for some reason. But you can see what the detailing looks like on the top right there with those wrinkles. You see what it looks like around the ankle section, and then there's just some smooth details right there. Now, let's talk about some things that may impede articulation before we actually look at articulation, I guess. First of all, we do have these thigh sections, kind of like with, I think it's like this on, like Beast Gohan and that. I don't have them on me right now to where I can remember, but it's definitely like this on the Future Trunks from last year. These go over this sculpt here. I feel like it's just a little too much plastic covering things. Also, these thigh sections are a little too tight. So if you're moving things around, hopefully it's not too bad. It's not too bad on mine right now, but maybe a little bit of shock oil might help. We have a little bit of detailing right here. I feel like, this is a softer plastic, this crotch area. So I feel like it shifts up a little bit, so that way you could push this. There might be a little bit of a drop-down system. I actually don't know. I don't think there is. But none of that is going to get in the way during articulation, which is nice. And then these have a little bit of gappage. You can see some of the purple going on in there, unfortunately. But Again, you know, these are a softer plastic, and again, they're not really going to hinder anything. If there's any rubbing going on, it's purple on purple, so it's really not going to be too bad. I think maybe if like the purple was on the skin tone for a little too long, that might be a problem. But overall, you know, I seems like some areas that would be problematic when it comes to aesthetics as well as getting in the way of articulation. I think they've addressed that from future or past figures, I should say, to make this a little bit more of a solid type of engineering. I really haven't had that many problems with any detailing. And there's no specks, no paint blemishes or anything. That is really nice to see, because I've had some paint blemishes in the past a little too often with some of these figures. So no paint blemishes anywhere, not even on the accessories. Since I did a whole song and dance about some of the engineering here, I'm going to try to be quick with the articulation, but we know it's not going to be that quick. We do have the dumbbell joint going on into the head, into the neck, and then that separate ball joint into the torso from the neck. You have this combined range of motion that's like this, side to side, down, up could be a little bit better. But it's still pretty good. And then swiveling, not bad at all. You can swivel this a little bit. This head is a little bit wobbly. I do want to mention it tends to be a little bit bobbleheady, but it's still pretty secure most of the time. You have a ball joint going down to the torso, going forward and back. You can make it go shift up and down a little bit, but you get a lot of gappage there, as you can see. Arms can go all the way around. When you're moving stuff around too much around this shoulder, though, this will get disaligned, but it's easy to put back in. Pushing this all the way out, that is a really good range of motion right there. Again, a little bit gappy, though. Arms can swivel right here at the bicep. We do have a double jointed elbow right there. And then we do have the the wrist articulation going up and down. Swiveling can go in and out. Again, I think there is an actual crunch that's being covered by this. I kind of feel something crunching, but you're mostly going to get this articulation at the ball joint right here. Again, some gapping going on there, but swiveling side to side. Forward and back, all that range of motion is really nice. Again, I mentioned these can actually go into here. It's a little bit difficult. There we go. It's still pushing things around. Perfect split, though. Again, these are a little bit tight. I would suggest ever so slightly shock oiling these. But the back, I mean, it can push back, but it will push this. But forward motion, not bad at all. Really nice, actually. Double jointed knee. We do have, trying to feel this out. Yeah, so this is where the ankle rotation is going to be, that little swivel right here. These can also move on their own. Up and down here on the ankles, ankle rocker, and then toe hinge. Now, this is a smaller figure, but considering that Saiyans usually have really big hair, we're getting at around 12.5, almost 13 centimeters, give or take a little bit of that. If you want to look at the actual top of where the actual head would be, you can see that's going to be really close to 5 inches with that. All S.H. Figuarts Dragon Ball figures for size comparisons here. We have Beast Gohan on the left, far left, Ultra Instinct Goku. And then we have 2 versions of Gohan's dad. You can see just how tall they are compared to the new figure. So I'll be honest, when I first started recording this review, I wasn't super in the mood to be looking at action figures, not gonna lie. But as I kept doing this review, kept playing around with this, I enjoyed doing this a lot more. This is a really nice figure. It's not perfect. I think it has a couple things in the engineering that could be a little bit better. Mostly the wobbly head. Sometimes that neck peg does pop off a little bit. I do think that the articulation is a little bit tight in some areas, but that's it. Those are nitpicks. This figure is really great for how small it is, and I know it is a $65 figure, so it's a little bit more expensive with the stuff that we come with. Maybe it should have come with an effects piece, but the soft goods on this cape is really nice, even though it likes to push the head up a lot to where the articulation is almost non-existent there. The other faceplates, the other head sculpt, and those different hands, all that is really solid. Most of this articulation is really top-notch. Again, the head's a little wobbly and the legs are a little bit tight, but everything is super solid. Posing this around is really great, and it's just an extremely fun figure. I think it's worth the price. I did get it a little bit cheaper because I had some points on Ami, so it was like $61 instead of $65 after shipping. A very fantastic figure here. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below. Just think about the figure. Just think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.